Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. Listen, are you having trouble talking to your customers, getting them to book with you because your customer only wants to talk about price? Are you having trouble getting your customer to say yes to your price? Are you finding yourself talking a lot, way too much about your prices and not enough about your value? And if you are, then this is the video for you. So I'm Sean John. Welcome to the channel. So I have this thing I call this formula I made up called 10x VP, and that's 10x value over price. And the reason that's important, the reason I made that up is because there was a time where I was taking a bunch of calls. Like, some days I would take 8 to 12 calls, right? And this was whenever I was starting out, like in 2020. I was taking like 8 to 12 calls, and we were getting I want to say maybe half of those booked, right? Half of those scheduled. And so I started realizing that, the thing that was occurring the most on the calls is that at some point during the call, we would get into a price war, like a bidding war, right? And so the customer would, because customers have no trouble, by the way, telling you what the competitors' prices are. And when the customer leads with price, that's where they want to stay. But it's your job to get them off of price and then get them to value. But I understand a lot of you don't know that. And that's why I do these videos. That's why I'm doing this channel. And so I would have a lot of trouble because when customers get to price, it usually disrupts everything. It disrupts your script, disrupts your mindset. You forget to talk about the things you need to talk about. Everything goes out the window, and all of a sudden, you're competing with other companies on price. And here's the thing: the other companies are not even on the phone with you. It's just you and the customer. But because the customer so kindly was willing to share the other service business's price, your competitor's prices, there you are in a bidding war with a business who's not even on the phone with you, right? It's just you and the customer, but they have you bidding with everybody. And like I said, they're always willing to tell you what the other company's prices are so that you can start to fight, right? And so they tell you this for a reason. They weaponize other companies' prices. They weaponize it. It becomes a weapon of mass seduction, right? Right? Because it seduces you to do what? Lower your price. Why? Because the customer leverages the fact that you need me being the customer. And so if you're gonna get me, then you got to play ball, right? You got to go low, right? You got to beat the other companies. Don't worry about me. I'll just tell you what they charge, and then you start fighting, right? You start wrestling with them. You start bidding with them, and I'll just sit back and listen. And if I hear something I like, then I'll say yes, and if not, I'll continue to call around, and I may even get some more numbers, call you back, and get you to compete again. And by the end of the phone call, you're worn out because all you've been doing is fighting. You've been fighting with your customer. You've been fighting with your own prices. You've been fighting with competitors' prices. You're worn out, blown out. And guess what? You've never talked about the value that you're going to provide. Never, never. And by the way, customers are not stupid. Most people understand that when they look at reviews and they see 5-star across the board, they understand that, and I'm not saying they are, but most people tend to believe, including myself, there's probably some fakeness going on in those reviews. So I typically look for 3.5 or higher, right? I believe more, and it's just me speaking. I would believe a 4.5 star faster than I would believe, 5 stars across the board. If I look at a company and they're 5-star across the board, I'm just going to assume there's probably something going on there, right? Something janky. And then if I look at a company that's 4.5, I'm going to assume, all right, that these are real reviews. People are telling the truth. No one's perfect all the time. And so if you believe that your value is going to come from just your reviews only, that does play a part. It is an ingredient, but that's not going to get it all the time, because now you're 5-star, 10 other companies are 5-star. Okay, cute. How do you separate now? everyone's 5-star. So those are things you have to learn to build your company, to get customers to trust you, to build that base. So really quickly, what I teach in my masterclass, I teach you some things about your business that you can utilize to take your business to the next level, from customer acquisition, that's where you get the customer, and to customer conversion, where you convert the customer into a booked reservation with your company. And then we go over retention, reviews, and referrals. And so those 5 things we cover as we help you to build your business. And shout out to everyone who just got the master training. And I'm getting positive feedback from you guys. And I don't get to coach as much as I used to. So if you need coaching, just put 1 in the comments below. And if I have time, we can reach out to you and maybe do a coaching session, or you can book a call with me. It's not free. But if you want your business to grow and you want some insight from me, go ahead and book a call. But my goal is to get you to understand that if you're talking about price, you're not talking about value. If price is what you lead with, or what the customer leads with, then they control your call. Number 1, you're going to be in a bidding war at some point. Number 2, and number 3, you're going to lose, because the customer understands they don't have to schedule with you. So again, there's always going to be somebody who's cheaper. There's always going to be someone who's willing to work for less. There's a crew who's not doing anything right now. They'll take whatever they can get, and they're decent. They're a good crew. They're just bad at marketing, so they don't have anybody booked on their schedule, but they'll take anybody. And so you've got to fight and compete with all of that also. So 10x VP, 10 times value over price. That simply means if the value is 10 times the price you're asking, then they'll do business with you every time, because the focus would be on the value and not the price, right? So if a brand new Mercedes truck was for sale for $10,000 as opposed to $100,000, and it was brand new, certified, everything, it wasn't a joke, no trickeration, nothing like that going on, and they just listed it for $10,000 instead of $100,000. Let me ask you, uh, you may not be even in the market to buy a new truck, but would you buy it? Yes, you'd find a way to come up with $10,000. You know why? Because the value is 10 times the price. The value, you'd be getting that truck at 10 times the value of what it normally costs. So you would do that all day long, 3 times on Sunday. So anytime that you can get the customer to focus on the value, and the value comes from the pain that the customers are in, and the relief that you're going to provide, just to keep it simple. Where are they now? Where are you taking them to? What happens in between? What do you save them? What do you prevent from them, or what do you save them from? So, and that's where the value is. So you have to focus on value. If you do not focus on value, you're always going to find yourself in a price war, a bidding war, something with customers, where it's going to be price, where it's going to be bidding, where it's going to be something. So think about that, make good decisions, and you'll be okay.